Earth had been silent for a very long time. No ships left its orbit, no signals reached the stars. For decades the galaxy believed humanity was finished, gone, or lost in its own destruction. Alien empires removed Earth from their maps, calling it a dead world. But no one knew the truth. Earth was not dead. It was sleeping. Deep under the planet's crust, far below the ruins of old cities, something hidden began to breathe again. Massive engines older than any empire hummed softly, like a heartbeat slowly returning to life. The air around the underground chambers vibrated as lights flickered one by one. A system that had been offline for 80 years started reactivating. And with every spark, Earth moved one step closer to waking up. In the far edge of the galaxy, scanners detected a tiny pulse from the Sol system. A weak signal, almost impossible to notice. But to anyone watching closely, that signal meant something unthinkable. It meant humans were still alive. And something on Earth had just turned on. Aboard the Corran Dominion Watch Station, Commander Rylex leaned forward as his screen flashed red. He stared at the numbers with disbelief. "This cannot be right," he whispered, his voice shaking. Earth had been silent for so long that even hearing its name felt strange. But the scanner did not lie. The signal was coming from the human homeworld. A place feared by old warriors and ignored by young ones. Rylex sent a message to his fleet, ordering all ships to prepare for emergency observation. No one knew what humans were capable of now. No one knew if Earth was rising in peace or preparing for war again. And that fear, the old fear of humanity, began to crawl back through the galaxy. Back on Earth, the underground chamber grew brighter. Blue light spread across enormous metal walls, revealing symbols older than any known language. A giant circular door slowly rotated, dust falling as ancient machinery awakened. Behind the door lay the heart of Earth's secret. The core engine. A system humans built long before the galaxy understood their potential. As the core engine powered up, a loud hum shook the planet. Old birds flew from ruined buildings, animals fled forests, and oceans vibrated like something beneath them was rising. The sky did not change, the stars did not move. But the planet felt alive again. And the galaxy felt the tremble of its awakening. In the High Council of the Vrax Empire, alarms echoed across golden halls. Emperor Sithrin watched projections showing Earth as a glowing red point. He narrowed his eyes, remembering stories from the last human war. Stories of human ships moving faster than light. Stories of fleets disappearing in minutes under human firepower. "What are they doing now?" the Emperor muttered. His advisors rushed around him, confused and terrified. "Should we attack?" one asked. "Should we prepare defenses?" another added. But the Emperor only said one thing. "Watch them. Do not disturb Earth. Not yet." Meanwhile, in the hidden depths of Earth, metal platforms rose from the ground. Enormous shapes moved under sheets of dust, revealing old human warships. Black and silver designs with sharp wings and glowing engines. Ships built for speed, strength, and survival. Ships no other empire could match. These were the Silent Fleet. A fleet humanity built for the day they would return. A fleet the galaxy hoped would never wake up. One ship in particular, the battleship Astronova, lit up with bright golden lines as its systems came online. Its engines glowed like a rising sun. Inside its control room, holograms activated, showing tactical maps, old mission logs, and a single message waiting to be heard. A message recorded by the last human commander 80 years ago. It said only 4 words. "When Earth awakes, prepare." And now, Earth was awake. The galaxy just did not know what was coming next. The first pulse from Earth moved through the darkness of space like a silent wave. It carried no words, no threat, no message. Yet every scanner across the galaxy detected it like a scream. It was power, pure and rising. A kind of power no empire had witnessed for many generations. In the Corran Dominion watch station, Commander Rylex watched as his screens glitched and flickered. Lines of code crashed in front of him, scanners overloaded, systems froze. The pulse from Earth had shut down half the station before Rylex could even issue a warning. "Report," he snapped, though his voice trembled. "Systems down, sir," an officer replied, panic in his eyes. "We lost long-range tracking, communication grid is unstable, and our energy shields dropped for 3 full seconds." Rylex felt cold fear grip his chest. 3 seconds might be nothing to most species. But humanity once destroyed an entire fleet in those 3 seconds. "What is their energy source?" Rylex whispered. No one answered. No one could. Across the stars, in the glowing crystal cities of the Helion Pact, scientists scrambled around enormous data cubes. The pulse from Earth had hit their systems too. Helion screens flickered with the same unknown pattern, a repeating wave like a heartbeat of a sleeping giant. "It is not a weapon," one scientist said. "It is larger than a weapon," another replied in fear. "It feels like activation." Activation of what? No one wanted to say it out loud. Earth had always been strange, unpredictable, full of secrets the galaxy never understood. Maybe this pulse was waking up more than machines. Far away, in the floating spire of the Solari Alliance, the high oracles stood around a glowing pool. Images of Earth rippled across the water. The oracles whispered old myths. Legends told by ancient Solari travelers who once watched humans rise from a simple blue world into a force that frightened even the oldest empires. One oracle touched the water and felt the vibration of the pulse. Her eyes widened in shock. "This is no simple signal," she said. "This is a call. A call to something hidden below the human planet." The other oracles stared at her. "A call to who?" they asked. She closed her eyes. "A call to themselves." Back on Earth, the core engine grew brighter, humming with deeper, stronger power. The sound vibrated through underground tunnels, through forgotten bunkers, through metal floors and ancient walls. It sounded like a storm gathering under the planet. Above ground, clouds formed in strange shapes, spiraling across the sky as if pulled by an invisible force. Animals looked toward the horizon, uneasy, sensing a shift in the world. The oceans grew restless, their surfaces rippling with every tremble of the core. Earth was changing. Earth was preparing. In a distant corner of the galaxy, deep within the metallic throne room of the Draken Empire, Emperor Zorith slammed his fist on the armrest. Red eyes burned with anger as the pulse readings projected into the air. "What are the humans doing?" he growled. His commanders bowed their heads. "We do not know, sire," one said. "The pulse did not damage us, but it reached every Draken outpost in less than a second." Zoritha's claws tightened. "They were supposed to stay silent," he muttered. "They were supposed to die." He stood up slowly, his armored body reflecting the glow of the projection. "If humanity rises again, the galaxy will remember why we feared them. Prepare the fleets. But do not attack," he added with a deep breath. "Not until we know what Earth is awakening." Meanwhile, in the underground hangars of Earth, more warships began to rise from beneath layers of dust and darkness. Each ship came alive with lights and whispers of old human technology. Engines hummed, shields activated, internal AI programs woke from long sleep cycles. These ships had not been seen by any alien eyes. They were new designs, evolved designs, far beyond the last war. The Astronova was the first to fully activate. Its golden lines pulsed like veins carrying energy through its body. The ship's AI, named Vigil, woke for the first time in 80 years. Its voice echoed through the chamber, calm but powerful. "Core activation complete. Systems running at full efficiency. Awaiting commander input." But there was no human commander yet. The planet had been waiting for someone worthy. Someone carrying the legacy of old humanity. And the core engine was calling them home. Above the underground city, the pulse expanded again, this time stronger. A bright shockwave of energy burst outward, shaking the atmosphere. The sky flashed white for a moment, like lightning without thunder. Then it spread across the solar system. Past Mars, past Jupiter, past the dark edge of Pluto. And then it left the system entirely. Another message without words. Another rise in power. Alien empires stared in disbelief. What is Earth doing? What are humans building? Have they awakened something dangerous? And for the first time in many years, the galaxy understood a terrifying truth. Earth was no longer a silent world. It was a rising giant. A giant that had just opened its eyes. The first pulse was not the beginning. It was only the warning. Part 3 would reveal what Earth was truly becoming. Across the galaxy, fear spread faster than the pulse itself. Every empire, every council, every powerful faction realized one terrifying truth. Earth was not only awake. Earth was preparing for something far greater than anyone imagined. On the towering world of Zelion Prime, the Grand Assembly of 12 gathered inside their shimmering crystal hall. Delegates from powerful species stood in silence, staring at the giant hologram of Earth glowing with a deep red signal. The pulse readings formed a pattern none of them could explain. It was not random, it was not chaotic. It was organized, controlled, intelligent. It was human. An elder historian with silver scales finally broke the silence. "We have seen this pattern before," he whispered. "This is the same signal humans used before the last contact war." A shockwave of fear rippled through the room. That war had lasted only 7 hours. In 7 hours, humanity destroyed 3 invading fleets and forced the empires into retreat. Since then, every species had promised never to provoke Earth again. But now Earth was waking on its own terms. In the great hive of the Eric's swarm, millions of insectoid workers froze as their queen received the pulse directly through the psychic network. Her wings trembled, her eyes widened with instinctive fear. "Human minds are stirring," she hissed. "Old fire, old strength." Her generals tapped their claws nervously. "Do we prepare our armies?" one asked. "No," the queen replied firmly. "We prepare to hide." Far away, on the lava-covered world of Vroshkar, the volcanic chambers of the war forge glowed brighter as blacksmith commanders hammered new armor plates. Their leader, Lord Draxium, watched the holographic projection of Earth with burning red eyes. He admired strength more than peace. And the pulse from Earth was the strongest thing he had felt in decades. "Humans return with fire in their veins," he growled with excitement. "For years I waited for a worthy rival." His advisors bowed nervously. "But my lord," one whispered. "If humans rise again, the galaxy may fall into chaos." Draxium smiled, revealing rows of jagged teeth. "Then let the galaxy burn," he answered proudly. "Strength chooses its own path." While violent species prepared for war, peaceful civilizations watched with equal fear. On the floating gardens of Serapha, an ancient starseer felt the pulse echo through the wind. She touched a glowing flower and whispered softly. "The humans have returned from silence. And their return will split the galaxy apart." Her young apprentice stepped forward, worried. "Will they bring war?" The starseer shook her head gently. "They will bring truth. And the galaxy does not like truth." Meanwhile, in the secret military sanctuary of the Nytherian Republic, a dark meeting took place in a soundproof chamber. 7 high-ranking admirals stood around a circular table, their holographic screens showing every detail of Earth's awakening. "Should we intervene now?" one admiral asked. "No," another replied sharply. "Intervention will be suicide." "Then what are our options?" "Only one," the oldest admiral said. "Wait. And prepare for what humanity reveals next." Across every empire, every planet, every hidden government, one question echoed in the minds of millions. What is Earth trying to awaken? But no empire feared the answer more than the Zathori Union, the species with the longest memory of human power. Their leader, High Chancellor Lirith, received classified reports showing Earth's surface shifting, energy signatures rising, and ancient systems rebooting. Lirith felt a shiver run through her entire body. "This is not random," she whispered. "This is not an accident. Humans planned this long ago." Her ministers exchanged uneasy glances. "What do you propose we do?" one asked. Lirith stared at the map of the galaxy, where the Sol system now glowed like a rising star. "We do not move closer. We do not move away. We simply survive." While the galaxy watched in terror, something far more important was happening on Earth itself. The core engine room vibrated as new power surged through its ancient circuits. Symbols lit up in bright gold across the floor. Hidden doors unlocked in distant underground tunnels. And the silent fleet continued to wake, ship by ship. But Earth was not only waking machines. It was waking memories. It was waking a force older than the warships. Older than the core engine. A force the galaxy once feared above all else. Human willpower. In the ruins of an old human city, cracked roads began to glow softly as old nanite networks activated. Robots buried beneath the rubble opened their eyes for the first time in 80 years. Satellite dishes hidden under camouflage lifted toward the sky, seeking signals of returning humans. It was as if the entire planet was preparing for the arrival of someone important. Someone the core engine called home. And far above Earth, in deep space near the edge of the solar system, a hidden probe opened its mechanical wings. It scanned the galactic direction, waiting for the right moment. Then it transmitted a message into the unknown. A message meant only for humans. Return to Earth. The awakening has begun. Across the galaxy, the empires continued watching with fear. But none of them understood the most important truth. The real change was not the ships, not the engines, not the energy pulses. The real change was still on its way. Humanity was returning. And nothing in the stars could stop what was coming next. Deep beneath Earth's crust, in the forgotten void where ancient human technology slept for decades, the awakening fleet continued to rise from the shadows. Massive hangars shook as steel platforms moved upward, carrying warships older than any living generation. Dust fell like snow as engines that once roared across galaxies flickered back to life. The silent fleet had not been touched by time. It had been waiting. Waiting for the moment humanity would need it again. The Astronova glowed with golden lines that pulsed like veins full of fire. Other vessels began to awaken beside it. The Solar Rain, a carrier once feared for launching thousands of drones at impossible speeds. The Helios Ward, a cruiser with shielding technology stolen from collapsing stars. And the mysterious Obsidian Echo, a ship built in total secrecy, its purpose unknown even to most humans. As each ship activated, the underground city lit up with blue and gold light. The walls vibrated with the rhythm of ancient engines humming in perfect harmony. Monitors across the hangar displayed old human designs, tactical maps, and encrypted codes. The fleet was not only waking. It was preparing. Above ground, the planet responded as if it were alive. Earthquakes shivered through the ruins of old cities. Rivers vibrated, forests trembled, and the wind carried a deep humming sound no human ear had heard in generations. Birds flew in formation toward the hidden mountains, forming patterns almost like signals. Animals gathered near strange glowing patches in the forest where old satellites buried long ago were reactivating. All of Earth felt a shift. A return. A calling. Inside the hangar of the Astronova, the ship's AI, Vigil, scanned the environment with new awareness. Energy levels were rising beyond predicted limits. Power conduits glowed so brightly they cast long shadows across the metal floor. Fleet units online, Vigil announced softly. Primary weapon systems charged. Defensive shield stable. But then Vigil paused for a moment. awaiting human command signal. Yet there was still no commander. The ships were awake but unmanned. They were waiting for someone who was not yet here. Someone the core engine knew. Someone the planet itself seemed to be calling. In a distant mountain range, the ground cracked open, revealing another massive hangar door. This one held a single ship, larger than all the others, the size of a floating city. Its surface shimmered with nanoglass plating that reflected the blue energy rising from Earth's core. This was the legendary vessel the galaxy whispered about during the last contact war. A ship built in total silence, hidden even from most humans. The Eternal Vow. A dreadnought said to be the pride of old humanity. A ship that had never been deployed. A ship meant only for humanity's greatest crisis. As the Eternal Vow awakened, its entire structure glowed with bright white energy, shaking the ground for miles. Its engines lit up in a burst of golden light that pierced through cracks in the mountain and shot into the sky. A beam so powerful that several alien satellites orbiting distant planets detected the surge instantly. Across the galaxy, alarms triggered once again. The empires stared in fear. What is that ship? What are the humans waking? What kind of engine leaves a signal that strong? In the Corran Dominion war room, Commander Rylek stared at the new data in pure disbelief. That is no ordinary warship, he whispered. One of his officers shook his head quickly. No sir, that energy signature is greater than anything ever recorded. Rylek felt a chill crawl through his bones. If that is only the beginning, he said slowly. What will the humans unleash next? Meanwhile, on Earth, the core engine room grew louder, glowing brighter. Symbols shifted across the floor as if rewriting themselves in real time. The entire planet seemed to speak a silent language of power. The pulse of the core synchronized with the pulses of the ships. The awakening fleet was now fully connected to the heart of Earth itself. Then something unexpected happened. A soft tone echoed through every ship. Vigil recognized it instantly. Human signal detected, the AI announced. But it was faint, distant, almost like a whisper. Still, it came from somewhere in space. Far beyond Earth. A human beacon. A call. A voice returning. In deep space, beyond the last boundary of the solar system, a small human escape vessel drifted near an asteroid field. Its pilot, a lone survivor, sat weakly in the cockpit, his suit nearly out of power. He had been running for months, fleeing a distant war. He never expected to reach Earth. He never expected Earth to hear him. But the moment the core engine activated, the beacon in his suit lit up with blinding light. The man gasped, tears filling his eyes. Earth, he whispered. You're alive. The Astronova received the signal again, stronger this time. Vigil processed it carefully. Human identity confirmed, the AI said. Survivor detected. Location, outer soul boundary. The ship's lights grew brighter. Weapons charged, shields activated, engines roared. The awakening fleet had received its first mission in 80 years. A rescue. But also a return. As the hangar doors trembled and began to rise, dust falling in thick clouds, the awakening ships prepared to break the surface. The ground above them cracked open, sending shockwaves across entire regions. Storm clouds spiraled overhead, forming a vortex that glowed with blue light. Lightning arced across the sky, drawn toward the hidden mountains. Earth was ready to reveal its fleet again. And the galaxy, watching from afar, felt the fear deepen. Humanity was not just returning. Humanity was rising with power unmatched. Power unmeasured. Power the stars had forgotten. The awakening fleet was ready to leave the shadows. And nothing in the galaxy could ignore what was coming next. The awakening fleet had risen from the shadows of Earth, but the planet itself still had one more secret to reveal. The core engine pulsed brighter than ever, sending waves of golden light through the underground city. Each pulse was stronger, sharper, more focused. It was no longer just energy-waking machines. It was a signal. A message forming inside the heart of Earth. Across the solar system, satellites that had been dead for decades suddenly turned toward Earth. Their antennas aligned perfectly, their systems reactivated, their old codes unlocked. Dust and ice drifted off their surfaces as ancient human technology woke with almost emotional purpose. All of these satellites, scattered across space, were connecting to one point. The core engine. Inside the engine chamber, glowing patterns shifted across the floor, forming circles within circles. Symbols rearranged themselves until they displayed something clear. A message waiting to be spoken. A message that had been prepared 80 years ago when the last human commander shut down Earth's systems. A message humanity wanted the galaxy to hear only when the time was right. And now that time had arrived. The first transmission began as a soft hum. It rose slowly, creating vibrations across the planet that echoed into orbit. Then, in a burst of pure energy, the message shot into space, carried by every satellite, every beacon, every hidden relay. It spread like a storm of light. And the whole galaxy felt it. In the Quarren Dominion Fleet Command, alarms blared as the transmission reached them. Audio signal incoming, an officer shouted. But the commander raised a hand. He knew this was different. He knew this was history. "Play it," he said quietly. The room fell silent as a human voice, calm and powerful, echoed through their speakers. "This is Earth," the voice said. "We have returned." Every officer froze. The transmission continued. "Do not fear us. We come not for war. But we will defend ourselves if threatened. We are awakening not to conquer, but to rise." The commander's eyes widened. Human voices had not been heard by any living alien in generations. Yet the words carried undeniable strength. This was not a weak return. This was a confident one. A warning wrapped inside peace. Across the galaxy, the message was heard by empires great and small. In the floating gardens of Serafra, the Starseer listened with trembling hands. "The humans speak with no anger," she whispered. "But their calm is deeper than our storms." On Zelion Prime, the Grand Assembly stopped their debate instantly. The glowing holographic figure of the human message reflected in their crystal hall. One delegate whispered. "If this is their peaceful voice, what will their angry one sound like?" In the war forge of Vroshkar, Lord Draxium laughed loudly as he listened. "The humans return with pride," he growled in excitement. "This is the voice of warriors." But in the icy corridors of the Zathori Union, fear spread silently. High Chancellor Lirith gripped her seat with shaking hands. She could feel the weight of every human word like a cold blade against her throat. "Prepare defensive protocols," she ordered softly. "No one provokes Earth. Not now." Back on Earth, the message continued to spread, repeating every few minutes. But something else was happening too. Something only Earth could feel. A second message was forming. This one meant only for humans. Inside the core engine chamber, the golden symbols shifted again. Lines reconnected, forming a new pattern. A faint human voice began to speak, but only inside the chamber. "This message is for survivors. For those born away from Earth. For those who fled." It was a call home. A message summoning every human scattered across the stars. A message telling them Earth was alive again. And ready to reclaim its destiny. In the small damaged escape vessel drifting near the solar boundary, the lone human survivor heard the second message through his suit. His breath caught in his throat. His heart pounded. He looked out toward the distant blue planet and whispered. "You waited for us. You really waited." Back on Earth, the awakening fleet prepared its engines. Vigil, the AI of the Astronova, processed both messages with perfect clarity. "Primary human signal confirmed," Vigil announced. Fleet preparing for departure. Massive hangar doors slid open fully, revealing the sky above. Storm clouds spiraled outward as golden light escaped from the underground chambers. The earth shook as engines activated. One by one, the ships lifted into the air, leaving trails of blue and gold energy behind them. The eternal vow rose last, casting an enormous shadow across mountains as it ascended. Its engines glowed in blinding white light. A symbol of human return. A symbol of power the galaxy had forgotten. As the fleet rose higher, the first message continued to echo through the galaxy. This is Earth. We have returned. Stand with us or stand aside. But do not stand against us. The galaxy listened in fear and awe. Some prepared alliances. Some prepared defenses. Some prepared to run. But all of them understood one truth. Humanity was no longer silent. Humanity was no longer gone. Humanity was rising. And the next pulses from Earth would change everything. The real shock was still coming. The awakening fleet broke through the clouds of Earth like a rising sun. Thunder rolled across continents as the engines ignited the sky with blue fire. People who remained hidden deep underground felt the tremble above. Animals froze in the forests as the shadows of human warships crossed the land. The world itself felt alive, awake, and more powerful than ever before. Far above Earth, the fleet formed a perfect formation, moving with silent precision. The Astronova took the lead, its golden lines glowing like a beacon. Behind it came the Solar Rain, the Helios Ward, the Obsidian Echo, and dozens of other ships once thought lost to history. Finally, the mighty Eternal Vow rose above the clouds, casting a massive shadow that stretched across the horizon like a giant's hand. Its engines burned with white energy, brighter than anything in the modern galaxy. The galaxy felt that light. And the galaxy trembled. Inside the command room of the Astronova, Vigil scanned the same message echoing through the stars. Earth's first broadcast was now being interpreted by thousands of species. And the reactions across the galaxy were anything but calm. In the Corran Dominion, fleets scrambled into defensive position. Entire armadas turned their ships toward the Sol system. But not to attack. To watch. To understand. To survive. Commander Rylex issued a new order to his entire division. No ship enters human territory, he said firmly. And no one provokes them. In the icy halls of the Zathori Union, High Chancellor Lyrith received a dozen emergency messages from frightened colonies. What if humans come for revenge, some asked. What if they want their old territories back, others cried. Lyrith closed her eyes, listening to the human broadcast again and again. There is calm in their voice, she whispered. But that calm hides mountains of fire. She ordered her diplomats to craft a message. A message of peace, respect, and no hostility. She knew that was the only safe path. Meanwhile, the Vroshkar Warforge erupted with excitement. Lord Draxium slammed his armored fist into his chest in celebration. At last, he roared. A worthy challenge returns to the galaxy. His generals roared with him. But even their pride could not hide the nervous trembling in their voices. They remembered what human ships did in the last war. They remembered how quickly their fleets were erased. Across the peaceful world of Serafra, the Starseer gathered her apprentices under a glowing willow tree. She listened to the human message with closed eyes, her breathing slow and controlled. The humans do not speak of war, she murmured. But the galaxy will answer with fear. She touched the ground gently. What rises in peace can still shake the stars. The apprentices shivered. They knew she was right. Back on Earth's orbit, the awakening fleet aligned itself into a strategic formation. Their engines quieted, their shields expanded, and their sensors extended far into space. Vigil detected hundreds of new signals coming from the galaxy. Some were curious. Some were afraid. Some were preparing for conflict. But one message stood out. A diplomatic transmission from a small, peaceful alliance known as the Lumine Concord. They sent a simple statement. Earth, we welcome your return. It was the first friendly voice humanity had heard in 80 years. Vigil processed the message and forwarded it to the core engine on Earth. The golden symbols shifted again, glowing brighter. A faint voice echoed through the engine chamber. First alliance detected. Preparing diplomatic protocol. But the core engine was doing more than diplomacy. It was searching for humans still alive in the galaxy. And it had already found many. Colonies lost long ago. Ships stranded in dead zones. Stations abandoned near collapsing stars. Earth was waking not just for power. Earth was waking for its people. Meanwhile, the lone survivor drifting near the asteroid field watched in disbelief as a portal of shimmering blue light opened near his escape vessel. The astronova emerged through it, moving with exact precision. The ship's size blocked the stars behind it. Its engines hummed like soft thunder. The man felt warmth spread across his chest as his suit reconnected fully to Earth's network. Tears filled his eyes. Earth, he whispered again. You came for me. The astronova extended its docking arms, pulling the damaged escape vessel inside the hangar with gentle care. Medical drones rushed to the survivor, scanning him, stabilizing him, and transmitting his vitals to the main system. Vigil spoke softly to him through the room speakers. You are safe. You are home. Back in Earth's orbit, the awakening fleet shifted as the astronova returned with its first rescued human in many decades. The core engine pulsed with pride, sending a wave of golden light across the planet's surface. Forests glowed for a moment, oceans rippled, and the wind carried a deep harmonic sound. The planet itself seemed to welcome the survivor home. The galaxy watched all of this with growing fear. Humans are saving their own, some whispered. That means they are preparing for something bigger. But no one could understand the full truth yet. Earth had not awakened simply to show power. Earth had awakened because it sensed danger spreading across the galaxy. A danger only humans had the knowledge and strength to stop. The Great Return was not humanity rising alone. It was humanity preparing for a war the galaxy did not even know was coming. And the real message behind Earth's awakening had not been revealed yet. That revelation was waiting in Part 7. The Final Dawn. The Final Truth. The awakening fleet floated above Earth like a constellation brought to life. Its engines glowed like distant suns, humming in a perfect, calm rhythm. Below them, Earth pulsed with golden light rising from the core engine. The planet looked alive, powerful, reborn. And for the first time in decades, humanity had returned to the sky. The rescued survivor rested inside the astronova, watching Earth through the large observation window. Tears rolled down his cheeks as he whispered to himself. We are home again. He felt something deeper too. Something calling. Something awakening inside his heart. As if Earth itself was speaking through the walls of the ship. Inside the core engine chamber, the golden symbols shifted rapidly. The floor glowed with intense white light as the next phase of Earth's awakening began. The core engine was no longer sending messages. It was now receiving one. A message coming from deep space. A message Earth had waited for 80 years to hear. Vigil detected the incoming transmission instantly. Unknown signal approaching, the AI announced. But it contains human encryption. The entire awakening fleet paused. Every ship went silent. Every engine dimmed. Every sensor turned toward the edge of the solar system. The signal grew stronger. Faster. Clearer. Until the first words echoed through the fleet like a heartbeat. This is the lost human armada. We are returning home. The survivor gasped. His hands trembled. Vigil processed millions of data points at once. The information was impossible. Legendary. Unbelievable. But true. The lost human armada had been missing for 8 decades. A massive fleet sent on a mission beyond known space. No one ever heard from them again. Every empire believed they were destroyed. But they were not destroyed. They were alive. And they were coming back. The voice continued. Our journey took us farther than any human has ever gone. We found threats the galaxy has never seen. And now we return with warnings and knowledge. But also with strength. The galaxy heard this message too, and terror spread like wildfire. In the high council chambers of 3 major empires, leaders stood frozen. If Earth awakened, they whispered. And their lost fleets are coming home. Then humanity is rising in numbers beyond all predictions. Across dozens of star systems, alien governments went into emergency meetings. Some prepared defenses. Some prepared alliances. Some prepared to evacuate. Fear, respect, and uncertainty filled the stars. On Earth, the core engine released a burst of energy that shot into the sky like a pillar of golden fire. It spread through the solar system, creating a protective shield around the entire planet. A shield no modern weapon could break. The lost survivor watched the glowing barrier form with astonished eyes. Earth is protecting itself, he whispered. And all of us. The eternal vow shifted into a new position, aligning itself toward the direction of the incoming armada. Its engines glowed brighter, preparing to welcome the returning fleets as only a human world could. The galaxy listened again as the lost human armada continued speaking. We sensed Earth's awakening across the void. We followed the core engine's call. And we return with a message for the galaxy. Silence filled the stars. Millions waited for the next words. The next revelation. Then the voice spoke again. Humanity does not seek war. Humanity does not seek to rule. Humanity does not seek revenge. But humanity will never again be silent. And any threat to our world or our people will face a force far greater than before. The message ended with a final line. We are coming home. Moments later, bright blue tears opened in the fabric of space. Warp rifts. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. Light poured through them like rivers of stars. And from the first rift emerged a colossal ship, larger than the eternal vow itself. Its hull was covered in markings from unknown regions of the universe. Its engines glowed blue and white, humming with alien and human technology combined. The lost human armada returned in full strength. Thousands of ships followed the flagship. Their formations perfect. Their unity unbroken. Their presence overwhelming. The galaxy trembled. Empires watched with mouths open in disbelief. This cannot be real, one leader whispered. This is a force beyond all history. For the first time in hundreds of years, humanity stood united again. Earth below. The awakening fleet above. And the lost armada arriving from the void. Vigil transmitted a single message from the Astronova to the returning fleet. Welcome home. The flagship responded. Earth, stand strong. A new era begins today. As the fleets joined together, forming the largest human force ever seen, the core engine sent one final pulse through the galaxy. A pulse not of war, but of warning. A reminder that Earth had risen again. And humanity had returned to claim its destiny among the stars. A new dawn began that day. A dawn the galaxy would never forget. For the first time in history, humanity stood not as survivors. Not as refugees. Not as broken remnants of a forgotten age. But as a united force. Awake. Alive. And rising. A new chapter of the galaxy had begun. The era of humanity had returned.